This is Coach Toyin. We're going to get started with today's sales training, advanced sales training program on human psychology and emotional intelligence. Okay, so if you're new to this space, feel free to call me Coach Toyin. I'm the author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur, founder of the Entrepreneurs Academy and the Quantum Leap self-development programs. I also am the host of the TV show Quantum Leap, and I host international trade summits, working with global leaders in business and government to advance economic development. So welcome to the space. We're going to go deeper now. I know as we get along, more people will be joining the stream. So feel free to introduce yourself using the chat space. And if you're on LinkedIn, you can raise your hand. If you have a question, you can signal to me and I'm happy to invite you on. I also see our guest here on Instagram. So welcome everyone. So why is this training program important? Why am I bringing this type of resource out here? The reason is because at the end of the day, we have to develop skills and we have to acquire knowledge. Hi, greetings. Okay, more people are joining. I just want to say greetings. Today's zone is going to really be powerful, okay? So again, why am I training? Why am I providing this training free online? The reason is because, okay, as an educator, I see so many people struggling and not really understanding that the skills you need for business success, you have to develop it. Content is not the solution. Okay? Consuming content alone is not the solution. What you need is actually training, the discipline to practice, right? To understand the right skills that you need to discipline and develop. You have to become a master. To become a sales professional, you have to master specific skills. So today I'm bringing this resource free out here. My school has the tools you need, right? A bunch of programs that will really help you from psychology to skills development, to branding, marketing, sales, to even your own personal development, because sales is where everything comes together. Sales is where everything comes together. You can build a solution, you can have products and services, you can want to serve people all you want, but sales skills, again, skills is where everything happens. Your knowledge, right? Your skills, your product, your services, your brand, your marketing plan, all of it collides to help you sell. And if you haven't built any of those foundational concepts, I invite you to check out my school as well. So let's get right to it. Today, I'm going to go deep down into specific things you have to do. Let's get started with number one. Your number one job as a sales professional is to educate your prospects. I'm going to break down what I mean by that. Your number one job as a sales professional is to educate, is to enlighten your prospects. Never make any assumptions that they understand what you're saying. You don't want to make assumptions, right? Because what most people that are amateur, that they don't have the skills, is they complain. They wonder, why are people not buying? Why are people not following? Why are people not downloading? Why are people not listening? Why are they not paying attention? On and on and on. You are in your own mind coming up with stories, because part of this training is to help you understand the psychology and the emotions of the people you hope to serve, of the people you hope to sell to. You have to get out of your own feelings. You have to get out of your own emotions, out of your own feelings, out of your own thoughts, out of your own fears, out of your own doubts, out of your own limitations. You have to get out of it, because none of those will help you sell. What will actually help you build connection, what will actually help you build rapport, what will actually help you build your business is to be laser focused on understanding the human psychology, the psychology of your prospect and their emotional state of being, and how you're going to serve them. Because we're not just thinking beings, we're emotional beings. So I want to welcome those who are just joining again. I see more people popping in on different platforms. Welcome. My name is Toyin Umesiri. Feel free to call me Coach Toyin. I'm a sales trainer, the author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur, founder of the Entrepreneurs Academy, and the TV show Quantum Leap, where I host government leaders as well. Okay, your number one job. If you want to become a sales professional, not an amateur, there's so many people out there that you can tell they haven't built the skills, they don't have the knowledge, and they're struggling. The reason I created my school is a place for training. It's not just content consumption. It's that I give you the tools you need to build and manifest the business and life you want. Okay? We need those skills. We need to activate those skills. So as I was saying, your number one job as a sales professional is to educate your prospects. So what do I mean by education? So if I asked you today, did you brush your teeth? I'm sure you say yes. What did you brush your teeth with? I'm sure you would probably say toothpaste. But did you know that in the 1800s, nobody wanted to use toothpaste? Nobody, right, knew, like, before toothpaste was invented, people were fine with whatever they were doing. Whatever solutions they were using to clean their teeth, they were just fine with it. People are always okay with status quo. Status quo is always safe. Status quo is always familiar. Because anytime you ask people to change thinking, change behavior, right, take action, it's a struggle. Unless people decide to change of their own free will, you cannot make anybody change. So then we can educate people, however, into understanding why change is important. So why do you need toothpaste instead of whatever you were, whatever you were doing before? Because people are always okay if they haven't been disrupted, if they haven't activated, if they haven't concluded that they need a better future for their life. Most people are fine with status quo until something kicks them in the butt. Most people do not want to change. Okay? Most people never want to change until something happens. So you have to be the thing that happens by educating people on why change is important. Never make an assumption that you really understand that people know what they need to know. In fact, what I believe is if you know how I can help you, if you know how my programs will change your life, you'll be running in right now. Right now. Okay? So our job is to educate. Your number one job is to not make any assumptions, but to investigate and educate. Many people make assumptions. They run into the marketplace, making assumptions that people are lining up, that people will do this, that people will do that, right? And when that is not proven true, people get disappointed. That's the amateur, inexperienced sales professional. When you go into the marketplace with your own assumptions, the marketplace will tell you the truth. And if there's conflict between what you believe and what the market is telling you, you've got to reconcile the differences. So this is about preparing you for what to expect in the market. Never make assumptions that people understand whatever it is you're doing. Unless, of course, if you're selling a product and service that people already have been educated on. So your job will be easier as a sales professional if the world has already been educated. So today, fast forward to today, you really don't have to tell people to brush their teeth, to buy toothpaste. But at the beginning, when toothpaste was invented, listen, a lot of money was spent in marketing the new solution. In fact, today, you find mothers now taking on the responsibility to educate their kids on brush your teeth. The companies have transferred that knowledge to parents, and now parents are the one. The moment you have a new child born into the society, it is the parents' responsibility now teaching and training their children that they need toothpaste. That's the brilliance of marketing. When it was first invented, right, marketing dollars were spent to educate the parents. Brush your teeth. Why do you need to brush your teeth? If the consequences of inaction, if you don't brush your teeth, this is what happens. Educating people that are non-scientists, right? Dentist knows the power of toothpaste, But guess what? Sometimes you need to transfer the knowledge of your profession onto your consumers. This is the world we're living in now. Many of the knowledge that you had to go to an expert to acquire before, you would have to go to a dentist for you to access fluoride. That was a special treatment. Today, it's introduced into your toothpaste. So even if you go to the store, you're going to see non-fluoride toothpaste and fluoride toothpaste. But now you know the difference and you can make a choice. We have to educate our prospects on what your product and services are for, consequence of inaction, because ultimately they have to make a decision. So human psychology and emotional intelligence allows you to get into the hearts and the minds of your prospects and influence, right, the direction of their thoughts and the direction of their emotions. So your job, one way of doing that, the most powerful way of doing that, is to educate, to teach, to guide, to offer insights that they know they do not have today. Because when you do it really well, just as the example I was giving on toothpaste, the parents that are the consumers, they personalize the education. When they know the benefits and they understand the consequence of inaction and they embody that knowledge and that insight, guess what? They will pass it on to the people they care about. So now when you have a new child, they will help the child understand you need to brush your teeth in the morning and the night. The child now will be going, why, mommy? Why do I need to brush my teeth? But guess what? The mom has the answers. Cavities, germs. There are germs in your teeth trying to attack the enamel. We need to brush our teeth. When you eat at night, sugar is the enemy. Candy, right? But this is a knowledge base that people had to read. Dentists had to read this knowledge base when they went to school. So transfer knowledge onto your prospects. Make them intelligent, right? Make them intelligent about your solutions. Many people holding back from sharing this type of knowledge. Listen, if you don't educate them, somebody else will. If you don't teach your prospects, somebody else will, and the person who does will win their hearts and mind. Okay? The person who teaches you, who guides you, right? You're going to fall in love with them because they make your life better. So your number one job as a sales professional is to educate your prospects. What you also need to understand, and this is a question for you as an entrepreneur, do you really understand the problems of your prospects? Do they also understand the problems of their own reality in whatever space, right, profession you're trying to serve them in? Do you know the problems? And do they know the problems? Typically, okay, your prospects will have symptoms. Symptoms are not the problem. They are not the underlying problem. Usually, experts are the ones that can diagnose what the underlying problem is. So, as an example, you go to a doctor, you tell the doctor you have headache, you have this, you have that, you have that, you have that. You give him the symptoms, and the expert returns and tells you, right, what the problem is. Because you cannot offer a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. So part of the education you have to offer your clients, your prospects today is helping them to diagnose their own problem. They might know the symptoms. They know what they are facing and experiencing today. They know how emotionally, how they feel, whether they're frustrated, whether they're hungry, whether they've tried this, it's not working, they tried that, right? They know whatever it is they're trying to achieve. And they also know what they've attempted in the past that hasn't worked. You don't know, but they know. They know their goals. Hopefully they have clarity about their goals. Some are confused. Well, that's another conversation entirely. People who don't have goals, who don't have vision of the future they want to enter into, most of those, they need consultation. Okay? So, but those who have clarity, those who have purpose, those who have goals, those who are dedicated to becoming who they want to become, to achieve the results that they want, Most of them know what they've attempted and it's not working. What's slowing them down? What's confusing them? What they're trying to achieve? The roadblock. When I say achieving breakthrough results, is that my programs help you achieve breakthrough results. Because if you've been trying this, you've been trying that, you've tried this, you've tried it. Most people are tired. They're tired of trying different things. So do you know the problems? And do they know the problems? Do they know why the things they've tried in the past is not working? Or whatever it is they are doing right now, why it is not sufficient? Do they understand what the real struggle are and what the barriers to their success are? Because part of the conversation is how to remove the barriers to their success. Whatever it is they're trying to achieve, what's making it difficult, more challenging, your program, your product, services, programs, they're supposed to be designed to make their life easier. So part of education is helping people understand what the problem is. So for example, in the world of entrepreneurship, the biggest problem is lack of education. But most people do not know that lack of education is why they don't know what it is they're trying to do. This is quite interesting. Okay, so my husband is a university professor. I'm a business educator. I grew up, my late father was part of establishing 2 universities. So I grew up in the world of academia. And then I went into the world of business, serving the biggest brands in the world. I sit on the board of business, publicly traded company. I've served the Fortune 1 as a business strategist. So as a business strategist coming into the landscape and engaging with people, I realized that, listen, the traditional education system is designed to create employees, not employers. An employee mindset, if you attempt to use employee mindset to build a business, failure is living in that. Because that skill, there are many parts of that skill that doesn't translate. That gave back to my first book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur. Strategy, skills, and mindset for achieving business growth and success. For those who want to transition from the corporate world, employee mindset, to entrepreneur's mindset, you need to abandon some thinking patterns and you need to adopt a new thinking pattern. That is a problem. Mindset is a problem in the world of entrepreneurship. But guess what? People do not know. People make assumptions that one day they can be an employee and the next day they can open their LLC, start a business, and they are expecting the business to be successful. They are bringing to the world of entrepreneurship the mindset and the thinking of an employee. An employee that feels entitled. An employee that thinks other people is responsible for this. An employee that is not leading, that is not taking charge. When you bring that mentality into the world of entrepreneurship, it does not work. But people don't know. So we have to educate people. The biggest problem, and I've polled so many people, I've done surveys, I've asked questions. Many people know the symptoms, but they are making assumptions that they know everything they need to know to achieve success in business. But yet they are not achieving success in business and they are not asking why. I'm telling you the answer is lack of education. Because if you want to be a doctor, listen, education is the key to unlocking success in specific areas, professional areas. So that's an example. Get clear within your industry. Do your prospects really have the intelligence, the brilliance, and the knowledge to assess and tackle the real problems that is creating a barrier to their success? You have to educate them. They have to really see the problem, because nobody invests in a solution for a problem they don't know that they have. I call it the customer-client blind spot. If the problem is sitting in their blind spot, meaning they are not aware, they are clueless about it, and here you are saying, buy this, sign up, enroll, and they're going, for what? Everybody feels they do not need to invest in any program because status quo is comfortable. Everybody's comfortable, but guess what? A year goes by, 2 years goes by, they're still stuck where they are. What are you going to do about it? People who come to you and say, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to build a business. And you're asking, listen, have you developed the skills? My programs will help you. Train yourself. This. And they go, no, YouTube University, content this, content that. Okay, they spend a year consuming content. They spend another year consuming content. But guess what? If you have a conversation with them today, the symptoms still persist. The problem is still there. Nothing has been cured. Why? Because the solution that tackles the problem, if they don't invest in the solution, they still believe what is not the solution is the solution. This is part of education. Many people today think content consumption is the solution to building a world-class business. If that were true, everybody should be successful in that area right now. But it's not true. You can have ChatGPT, you can have Google, you can have all this content dump. And trust me, there's abundance of content in the world. Newsletters, listen, I also put a lot of content out there. And the reason I'm teaching this type of class publicly is to create awareness that what we need is training. What we need is skills development. What we need is transformation. What we need is mindset or reorientation. This work is deeper than just sitting back and just watching a movie. I always say you can sit back, watch your own movie, scroll through social media. But the real challenge is that an entrepreneur must be a problem solver, a solution provider, and you need skills to do both of those things. So what I do in my school is to give people the tools you're going to need to build. Anytime you need to build, anytime you need results, you must take action. You must work with your hands. And so most people do not want to work with their hands. They just think consuming content. Listen, you can read 100 books on fishing until you go to the stream and you attempt to do it. And you attempt to train your body how to perform the task. You can still get a fish. A fish is not going to jump up just because you've read 100 books. Just because you've consumed 10,000 contents. That's not how you fish. This is the shocker. Content is not the solution. The solution is training yourself to develop the skills and the mindset and the strategies and the processes and the systems that will help you get results. I'll keep hammering this down because this is the number one problem. People who think they can convert content and get results without in the middle doing any work. 100 books on fishing does not equal to a fish on your table. There are many things in between. That's what I'm talking about. Training, practice, discipline, showing up again and again and again and again to become a master fisherman, to become a sales professional. You can read books, gain my training. I give you the practical tools that you're going to use to build your own skills and then be able to design the strategies that will help you get results. That's the gap between content and results. Content and result, the action you're going to take, the discipline, the practice, how you're going to show up, the momentum, the repetition to become a professional. That's the biggest gap in the marketplace today in the world of entrepreneurship. Content will not do any of those things for you. You have to solve your own problems. You have to also change your own life. You have to transform if you want to see any type of results. So let's educate people around that. The second question on this same topic is, do you understand, how well do you know your own solutions? Let me clarify what I mean, because I don't want people to be quick to say, yes, I know. Listen, the mindset of the person who builds the product and services you want to sell, that mindset has to shift a little bit when it is time to become a sales professional. In fact, you need to distance yourself a little bit from your own creation. The reason is because you know too much. You may know too much about the technical side of it because you are convinced that this is the best solution. But the assignment, okay, of the sales professional is not for you to convince yourself, but for you to convince people who do not have any idea. You need to make assumptions that people don't know anything about you, your products and services, unless you've invested time in educating them, right? Branding, marketing, sales. If you haven't invested time to educate people, to tell them who you are, what you do, what you can do for them, right? To help them understand that you see them, you care, you understand their If you haven't built that level of rapport and trust, please do not make any assumption that people know who you are, what you can do for them, the results you can deliver, how fantastic your solutions are. This is the part of the problem. People just make assumptions. Oh, my product is this, my product is that. Okay, good for you. You have to educate people about the solution. Why did you create the solution? Why did you create it the way you created it? What's unique about your solution? What's different between your solution and other people's solution? You know why? Your prospects there's competition, right? One of the competition, for example, is YouTube University. Many people think YouTube will take them from where they are to where they need to be. Many people think Google, right? The old school, right? People used to think now that you can type and ask any questions, you know the questions to ask. So it's going to get you results. And how much result has it gotten right now? It will get you some. In fact, this is what I say. After going through my own training, you can actually use the tools better. You get better results out of these tools that are available free to the public. If you know what you're searching for, you can find it. Most people do not know what they need to know, right? They don't know what they need to know. So they don't know what questions to even ask. That's why foundationally, we need to understand the structure, the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, the psychology behind it, the EQ. That's why I teach the way I teach, because most of these tools are useless to people who don't know what they're searching for. If you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't know what you need, if you don't know how to build, if you don't know what you're building, if you don't have the sketch, you don't know what to ask online. So these tools are not useful to people who do not know what they're looking for. Okay? Another question to answer. Again, I'm still just talking about your number one job. And greetings and welcome others that are joining. This is a recorded public training that I'm providing free today on sales. It's advanced sales training on human psychology and emotional intelligence. We're going deep. In my school, we go deeper. Okay? Do you know how your solution ranks with the other solutions that your prospects are exploring out there? With the other books they are reading, with the other, influencers they are following, with the other voices that is calling on their attention to say, come, I can help you do this. Come, I can help you do that. Come, right? The people they believe, the people they follow. How does your own solution rank next to them? So for example, my school, I say, listen, it replaces at least 10 coaches. You're going to need at least 10 coaches to be able to teach you what I teach you in my school. It replaces at least 10 coaches because I cover in depth the 360 of entrepreneurship, business development, and self-actualization, self-development. It's the most advanced, comprehensive training program for entrepreneurs in the world. A year and a half ago, I developed a curriculum for United Nations, training entrepreneurs from 38 countries. My work is global and international. So this is a body of work that is so incredibly important because it changes the narrative and the landscape on entrepreneurship. This is a conversation I'm having with governments as well. That when it's time for people to become entrepreneurs, where do they go for training? Well, I've built the school for that. You want to be an employee? Please, you know where to go. For 20 years, the traditional system will perfect in you to become a job seeker. So I have clarity in terms of why I built my solution, the way I built it, and what is different about it. It's the most comprehensive, complete, and advanced training program for entrepreneurs in the world. Okay? So you gain clarity on what your own solutions. How does it differ? How is it more superior to whatever it is people think is available to them out there? Get clear and be able to articulate that. You have to make a compelling offer that you are the best in your field. If you are not the best, tell them, are you the cheapest? I stand on being the best and the most affordable. Right? So think about that. Are you the best? Are you the cheapest? Are you the fastest? Pick a narrative. Get clear on your compelling offer. Do you help them achieve it faster? Or get clear. You have to articulate that offer. Why is that important? Because you want to give your prospects something to think about. You cannot think for them, but you want to give them information. This is part of the education. Okay? This is part of the package of education, is Educate your prospect about the problem. Educate them about the solutions and the opportunities. Educate them about differentiation. How are you different from everybody else out there? How is your solution unique? Okay? What's compelling about your brand, about your approach to solving these problems? Okay? Let's see. Okay, this is a good time to take a pause and ask if people have questions. I already see comments coming in. And for those on LinkedIn, welcome. If you would like to engage, I've only covered one. I'm going to go deeper into it, but this is a good time to reflect, check in with people. Any questions, comments? If you want me to go deeper on something I've covered before, let me know before I move on to the next one. Okay, I see comments here. Saya says, thanks for the talk so far, Toyin. I have a question for you. What is required of an employee to become an employer? Okay, I'll hold on to that. Let me keep reading. Including what kind of education is needed. Okay. Says, pardon me, I have to go, but we'll listen to the replay. Okay. So this person is asking about employee to employer mindset and then what education is needed. I want to encourage you to grab a copy of my book on Amazon. It's called Mindset of an Entrepreneur, Strategy, Skills, and Mindset for Achieving Business Growth and Success. And let me just read the back, parts of the back. This book will help you because I'm very, very specific, right? This book will help you, number one, begin your entrepreneurship journey with the right mindset. Number two, learn what it takes to achieve success. Number three, develop the skills for structuring your business for long-term growth. Why is this important? First, I want you to admit and be aware that how you're thinking today, how you process information, mindset, how you process information, okay? When we say mindset, right? The decisions you're making in the emotional intelligence class in my school, I covered this. How you approach life, how you process information, how you make decisions, how you take action, the things that you do, your belief system, your approach needs to adjust to the world of business. You need to fit into the world of business because entrepreneurs have different responsibility than an employee. So let's start there. Start with asking yourself, what are the responsibilities that you currently have if you're an employee versus the responsibilities of an entrepreneur? You will soon find out that an entrepreneur has to understand the 360 aspect of a business. An employee only has to understand what they are paying you, right? It's a silo. If you're an engineer, you understand engineering. If you're an accountant, you're there. You operate within a functional area of your business. An entrepreneur, however, needs to move on to higher dimensions of perspective. You need to have a strong perspective on sales, strong understanding of marketing, strong understanding of pricing, your business model, right? Your brand, right? So what happens is the entrepreneur must stretch. That's the biggest thing. Your knowledge must expand. Your skills, you need new skills because education is packaged knowledge. If all you've installed in your mind, I'm using just technology framework, right? Like, let's just say installation, okay? If for 20 years you became an engineer, it took you 20 years to be trained, to become a trained engineer, ABCD, 1, 2, 3, algebra, calculus, right? All the things you embody. Education is packaged information. If that is all you've operated within and you have perfected that and you're a master, right? You have 10 years of experience, 15 years in engineering. Please realize that is just a one dimension of knowledge. If you're trying to build an engineering company, for example, good. You translate and transfer, right? You translate your technical engineering skills, but business skills is the structure you build around it. And the way I teach this is that an entrepreneur is somebody that has an idea and wants to manifest the idea. You want to bring it to life. And the process you're going to subject yourself to, it starts internally. Your idea starts inside of you. You have to have faith in it. You have to have belief in it. You have to invest in it. You have to take action on behalf of your ideas. You have to bet your ideas. That's the journey of an entrepreneur. The second, while you're doing that, you need to now build a business around your idea. This is where sustainability comes in. This is where you create identity in the marketplace, trust in the marketplace, processes, right? That helps you, right, commercialize your idea. Because you can have an idea today and just say, I want to sell this, I want to sell, right? It's a dream world. But the business structure is what helps you build a commercial structure around your idea. That requires business skills, not engineering skills. So many people get confused to say, oh, I'm smart. Yes, you can be smart when it comes to the technical skills you want to deploy in the marketplace, you want to, right, transact with in the marketplace. But only the business structure, the business identity, okay, the messaging, the business messaging, right, the trust you're going to build in the marketplace, all of the processes from PO processes, consumer processes, customer service processes, right, accounting processes, procurement processes, all of this structure is the business structure that you have to build around your business. And many people don't have the skills to build a business structure because the business structure is where the asset is. Ownership, equity. Equity stays in the business structure that you build. So you can have a technical skill, but to sell it in the marketplace, right now, your employer is doing all of the work you have to take on as an entrepreneur. Today, you can be a staff, you have the skills, they are using your technical skills, but they've built the structure. The day you remove yourself from your employer and you now want to sell in the marketplace, you realize that people don't just deal with individuals. They want to deal with an entity that has reputation in the marketplace. How are you going to build that entity? Those are the things we cover in my school. And as you're building that, you have to build yourself. Because you now have to have the capacity. So I'm just trying to answer that question in that holistic way. Number one, I recommend go to Amazon, get my book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur. Number two, create awareness that the skills you have right now that you're using to serve your employer is one-dimensional. When you want to become an entrepreneur, you need to build 360 perspective. So higher levels of skills, higher levels of perspective, higher level of capacity. And in order to build that skill, nothing happens overnight. I have built a school. You need to join and complete the 10-week accelerator program at TOYINUMESIRI.ACADEMY. That's the best I can offer because nothing happens overnight. But let's create awareness that what's holding people back is developing the skills, the strategies, the system that will help them be successful. Okay. I think I've tackled that. Good. We can move on now. I hope. Do I have any other questions? Let's go. Let's keep going. Okay. Also, as you're working with your prospect, again, we're covering human psychology, emotional intelligence, as I'm teaching this advanced sales training. Part of this, in my school, we have workbooks that you do assignments and all of those things. But I'm using my words today to just help shape your own thinking and help you create awareness, right, around things you can utilize today. The real work, however, happens in my school at TOYINUMESIRI.ACADEMY. So what your prospect also needs from you, let's cover that. You see, your prospect wants to be seen, okay? They want to be respected, okay? They want to be understood, and they want to be cared for. Nobody wants to be a babysitter, okay? Here is the deal. Humans are not just thinking beings, they are emotional beings. I always say, you will, with your business, with your product and service, you must be able to articulate the problems you're solving, the pain you're removing. So pain removal, right? This is the art of being a business owner. Every business, it's either it's removing pain, okay? You're solving something that is creating emotional pain for people. You're eliminating pain in their life. You're making their life better, okay? Or you're bringing them pleasure. You're helping them fulfill their aspirations. You're bringing pleasure. You're making people happy. Right? When you buy that car, listen, you're thrilled. You're like, ooh, engineering, German engineering, sleek, nice looking. You don't know how many hours and investment it took to manufacture what pleasures you. Those shoes, those handbags. If you go into the factory, the work that goes into the raw materials, manufacturing the things that you're buying, that's what you reward people for. Like my school, you don't know the years of experience that I've put together to rescue you from making your own mistakes. You could spend the next 5 years trying to figure it out by yourself, or invest in my school and learn, right? I always say it's either you learn under duress or you learn sipping tea and coffee. I always tell my students, get off social media, get your nice chair, grab your tea and your coffee, download the workbooks, and then complete your assignments. You can learn that way, or you can learn beating your head on the wall, trying to figure out YouTube University, asking questions around, spending countless hours, this content. Listen, 100 hours on Facebook, 100 hours on YouTube, 100 hours later. Ask yourself, the last year, how many hours did you spend on social media? How did they change your life? Because that's a way, it's either you learn. Everybody has to learn. Let me tell you, whether you know it or not, we all have to learn. I learn. Many people don't want to learn. The faster you can become a student of life, the faster you will achieve success. We are all here to learn. Somebody taught us ABCD. Somebody taught you everything you know. Do you know that? Consciously or subconsciously, you are observing life. We are all here to be a student of life, to gather the knowledge we need, to gather the information we need, to gather the resources we need, so that we can quickly do what we are here to do. So whether you like it or not, you're here to learn. And so people who don't want to learn, or they are not yet conscious that the process you have to go through is learning. There's something you call abyss of failure. Many people use the word failure. I tell you, even I put this out on social media. Only the people who do not want to learn are the real failures. You know why? Every time you attempt something you do not have the skills or knowledge for, it's not going to work as you want it to work. If I give you a plane, and this is how I teach, I want to help people not be shocked or reacting to life in negative terms. Don't react to life. In my classes, EQ classes, emotional intelligence classes, this is part of the skills. You want to approach life from a place of positivity, but you cannot approach life from a place of positivity if you are ignorant of what is happening and confronting you. If you tell the wrong stories about your current experiences, this is what generates emotional turmoil in the hearts and minds of people. You don't know why you are not getting the results you want to get. And I'm trying to say, the moment we realize that this life is trying to teach us something. Imagine if you're in school and the teacher is giving you an exam, but the teacher never taught you how to solve this math equation. You are going to sweat, you are going to struggle. In fact, you are going to tell the teacher is not nice, it's not being nice to you. Right? If you're in school and suddenly you just see an exam that the teacher never covered in class, what are you going to say? You're going to say, teacher, you're not nice. You are not nice. How can you be asking us a question that you've never explained to us? How do you expect us to know the things you've not taught us? How do we solve this equation, x plus y equals to z? What is the meaning of that? You will challenge the teacher. You will tell the teacher is unfair. That's what's happening in real life today. You say life is unfair, but you don't know that the reason it's being unfair is because we haven't learned. We need to learn. So anytime, and let me give you this free wisdom, life wisdom, spiritual principle. Anytime you want to do something and you are not able to do it, and somebody else has done it before, our job is to interrogate existing knowledge about that field. Get curious. Get curious about how other people are doing the things you want to do. It's not new. There's nothing new under the sun. But what is new is people who do not want to learn, people who don't even, in their consciousness, want to surrender themselves to be a student of life. Life cannot teach you if you don't become a student. But once you master, you graduate, you move on to your next level. And at your next level, you encounter new challenges that will build your capacity. When you go into the gym, you're going to be confronted with equipment you've never used before. You better ask somebody, how do I do this dumbbell? How do I do this? Allow people to start teaching you. That's the wisest thing you can walk away from today's session. And if you don't want anybody to teach you, you are your own in this life. And that's not a pleasant place to be. This is what ignorance causes for people. Pride goes before a fall. Okay, that's wisdom 101. Hopefully we pass it on to the next generation, right? You ought to be telling your kids the same thing. Read more books. Read more books. Expose yourself to new insight, because out of it is where you generate more success in life. I see a comment says you are spot on. Learning either practical or theoretical is key to achievement. Let me add, yes, and let me add on to that. At the end of my book, actually, there's something, the chapter is called Equation of Success. Okay? Equation of Success. And in that equation of success, in fact, when the person who read my book for the audio copy, there is audio copy on Audible, she was asking me, how do I describe equation for success? So I had to guide her on how to put that into play in the audio book. But basically, this equation of success is trying to help people to understand that, you see, the mind and body connection. When you read a book, you have to train your mind, but you have to also train your body. And even training your body will train your mind. Many people will invest time and gather theory. But here's what happens with theory. Theory sometimes has this is what people need to be careful. Some people can be so smart. This is IQ versus EQ, by the way. They can know too much in theoretical terms and think they know, but they cannot do. Let me say that again. When you think you know something, but you are unable to perform, performance is tied to practical skills development. Let me give you a practical example. Basketball. You can know everything about playing a basketball in theoretical terms. It doesn't mean if I give you the ball, you can shoot it into the basket. Because shooting it into the basket only comes from practical training of the body. There's training of the mind, there's training of the body. Many people will go and watch a soccer game. They know the rules of soccer. They can scream all they want, but you are not Ronaldo. Ronaldo has been at it for over 30 years. Abi, if you haven't given 30 years to your profession, you are not a professional. This is part of sales professionalism. People who start today, 6 months later, you want to say you're a sales professional. Listen, experience. This is where experience is a differentiator. The years you put into the practice of your profession is what determines how good you are in generating results. So many people cannot generate results today, but they'll say, but I know this, but I know this. And this is where pride lives in. Sometimes theoretical knowledge makes people haughty and proud and feeling good. Listen, this is one of the things that blind people from achieving success. It literally stops people from achieving success because they are ignorant of the discipline of practice. They don't show up. LeBron James, listen, you only see them on game day, but every single day, they show up to practice 5 a.m., 6 a.m. They throw maybe 150 shots every day, so that when game time comes, they don't miss a shot, or they get as close as possible to helping their team win. People don't see that. You see people in Olympics. Running, listen, everybody knows the theory of learning. Put one leg in front of the other and run as fast as you can. Simple. In theory, you can run in your dreams. Everybody can do incredible things with their imagination. But when you wake up to real life, if you want physical results in your life, you want to build a business that brings you money, That, like, listen, the moment you want to manifest, this is part of the principles of manifestation. The moment you want real results, not results in your dreams, not results in your imagination. When you want practical results, you want to change your life in physical world, theory must convert to practical. You must take action. You will take so much action that will help you build skill, you build momentum, and you will take flight. That's how you get to the next level. You do not get to the next level with the same thinking pattern, the same level of skills. You stay at the levels of your skill. That's it. That's it. So yes, content, you can stay on YouTube, on social media, and consume endless content. This is the biggest thing. The quicker you start, how do I say it? The faster, the sooner. That's what ought to create a sense of urgency. I don't get a sense of urgency for most people. Why? Because they think they can spend a year on YouTube, not realizing, listen, if you spend a year in my school with the practical lessons, and every single day you are being held accountable, and you're holding yourself accountable, you will see results in weeks, not a year. You will see result. Why? Because every hour that you put towards practice, you are improving. Every hour you put into reading or consuming content, your body is still waiting for you to teach it in practical ways. So how do we move people from just becoming a content addict? That's the new name I just phrased. You know why? Because content consumption feels good. The day you want to start taking action, you will feel pain. You know why? Because the muscles, the skills break your old muscles, and you have to develop new muscles and capacity. You can read about going to the gym, but the day you show up to the gym, you will understand that there's pain tied to growing muscles. This is what most people will not tell anybody. That you have to build endurance for your next level. Okay? You have to build endurance. This is the practical thing that people have to do. And I tell everybody, listen, my students already know this. I'm just putting this out there because I realize many people, nobody's telling you that you have to subject yourself to the pressure required when you start taking action. This is why people procrastinate. You have to kill procrastination. Because you can procrastinate for a year, you can procrastinate for 2 years. Listen, what you will still do, you will still do. You are just delaying your process. The process doesn't change. Success doesn't go on sale. The journey, the destination is not going to change. The question is, when do you start your journey? Do you want to start it today, or you want to delay it again? People have been delaying for 2 years, 3 years because they are hoping they will not have to do the work. People are literally hoping that they won't have to do this work. But guess what? Someone still has to do this work. Why? I'm speaking to producers, not consumers. This is part of the mindset that has to change. Employees, right? They develop some form of consumerism mindset, entitlement mindset. But entrepreneurs are productive. You're going to develop yourself so that you can increase your productivity and improve your results. Actually, that is the focus of entrepreneurs. That's the training, right? Masters subject themselves to. Sales professional. The moment you decide that this is your profession, just as you invested time in developing your old skills that you were contributing towards your employer's success, when you become an entrepreneur, you have to also dedicate yourself to improving the skills, developing the skills that will help you be successful, that you will use to contribute to your own business. This is a no-brainer. It ought to be a no-brainer. That's what you can bring. The skills, knowledge you can bring to your business is what will help your business grow. And if you don't have superior skills, you don't have superior knowledge, I'm saying invest in those. It will be a game changer in how you build and structure your business. Okay, so I just spent time to explain the difference between theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge is that the mind has to be trained, but the body has to be trained through practice. And the more you practice, the more you will train your mind on what works and what doesn't work. Because you can go online, gather a lot of information, but you really don't know what's going to work for you. The person on the other hand is telling you what they have done. Now, when it is time for you to do your own, you really don't know if it will translate. The way you are going to test it out is to discipline yourself and put yourself to practice. It says, keep the drive. Okay, sure. Knowledge is light. Yes, yes, yes. Breakthrough Barrier says learning is lifelong. Acquiring new knowledge, skills, and understanding, both formally and informally. Content addict. Yes, yes, yes. Let me keep going. Okay, no, there's one more. Femi, Mr. Fred Obemi says, glad to be here, coach. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you too? Great. Let's keep going. So I've answered the questions so far. Keep dropping them. When I take the next pause, I'll respond to questions as well. And if you want to come up to lend your voice to the discussion, feel free to do that as well. Breakthrough Barriers, I see you. We need to talk, but feel free to also come up if you want to engage. So your job is to remove pain, bring pleasure. Your prospects wants to be seen, understood, respected, cared for. So that's one. Your number one job, let me recount quickly. Your number one job as a sales professional is to educate your prospects. I think I've landed that. When I teach, I'm like, let's drive this thing home. Your number one, repeat, your number one job as a sales professional is to educate your prospect. Don't assume that they know. Listen, if you all know, if everybody knows, right, the game changer, how their life will change, then I'll just turn, then it's over. So our job is to keep enlightening people so that they understand, so that they are informed, so that they are aware about the problems, the solution, and how they can change their life, transform their lives with your product and services. And later on, I actually dive deeper. In my school, there's a resource where I train my students how to craft stories, right? Because stories will help you with your communication a lot at TOYINUMESIRI.ACADEMY. So let's move on to number 2 that I have for you today. Okay? Number 2. You remember we're talking about psychology, human psychology and emotional intelligence, the hearts and minds of your prospects. Number 2 leans more on EQ. This is why I teach and train my entrepreneurs on EQ, the 7-series program, EQ training program. This is how you start implementing them and using them. Number 2, your job is to eliminate the doubts, fears, concerns, right, of your prospects. Your job also is to build their confidence. Toyin, what are you saying? Okay, I'm glad you asked. You see, as humans, we take action based on how we feel. Not just how we think. How you think affects how you feel. How you feel influences what you're going to do or not do. When I talk about the human design, right? The human design, how we are designed, whether you like it or not, this is by design. The heart, right? The mind, body connection, the heart and mind, nervous system, how everything is connected. I explain it in detail in my classes because you cannot be ignorant, clueless on these things anymore. It will change your life, and then you use it to change other people's life and build the business and life you want. Okay? When it gets to emotion, we take action primarily based on how we feel. Many people think, okay, it's just what you think. I'm saying both. It's a combination. And in one of my classes, I actually explained that value. The mind is, the body follows the mind. There are many things I've thought over the years. I'm trying to bring the one that can help you understand what I'm trying to explain today. This is the emotional side of your job. The people you are talking to, the prospects you are talking to, it's not just IQ. It's EQ. EQ rules, okay, where we invest our energy. You know, when people say money is energy, money is energy, money is energy, I always say in the industry, I don't like people who say what they cannot explain. I don't like people who repeat what they do not understand. But you hear people repeat this, money is energy, money is energy. Oh, people don't understand it, but they just think as they continue to say it, it makes sense. But trust me, EQ is the only place where you can explain that statement. EQ is the driving force of energy. This is how we decide where to put our time, energy, and resources. It's not just mind. Mind will help us perform because the body follows the mind, but the instruction for the mind comes from the heart. Now, there are other advanced things that I teach where I explain that if you don't bring your mind along, the mind can stop people from living their future. This is the example. This number 2 is the example where that happens. When people doubt, when people are afraid, when people are concerned, when they are lacking confidence, they do not take action. They are frozen. Okay? Because status quo, staying where they are, is the safest thing. When people are afraid, when people doubt, when people... Like, literally, it's like you're driving a car and you are presented with option, because this is part of sales. This is why they tell you, don't put too much option in front of your prospect, because if they cannot process it, analysis paralysis, people will not take any action. They walk away if you are making their mind think too much. If it's difficult to comprehend, to understand whatever it is you're trying to do, people will not take action. They will walk back. The reason is because the moment the mind has to think too much, it creates an emotional state that is painful, not pleasant, and we back out. People back out when they face obstacles. It takes courage and confidence to invest in an offer. So part of sales is to understand the doubt, fears, concerns of your prospects. I'm going, you know one thing, because I have a lot to cover, I'm not going to go in depth in any of them. I'll just highlight, I'll provide highlights of each of these things for today, because I'm looking at time, I'm taking too much time. You can access the resources in my school, but I'm going to highlight key things, okay? So your number 2 job is to understand the emotional state that is stopping your prospects from taking action, right? Fear keep people bound. Doubt keep people confused. The concerns they have keep them from making the right decisions. Limitations, what they don't have or what they don't think they do have. You don't have time, you don't have money, you don't have this, you don't have this. They cannot prioritize. That sense of lack stops people from prioritizing and doing the things they're supposed to do. So they push it, they keep pushing it. Your job is to understand those things and help them see what they must do to remove fear, to remove doubt, to remove concerns, and the limitations to help them fill the gap. If you just assume that, oh, when you tell people buy this, they will buy. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to eradicate and remove the emotional barriers. They're real emotional barriers, deep emotional barriers that keep people bound and stuck and afraid from going into the future. Because the status quo is holding them. Because the mind, if the mind cannot travel into the future, and this is where the tools I provide around storytelling, casting the vision of the future. Imagine a situation where you have the skills, where you are unstoppable, when you have the tools you need to build the business and life you want. That's what my school is about. You have to imagine, right? You have to imagine that you can break out of your fears, doubts, all of those things. That's why I teach, like the emotional intelligence class will take you, it will give you the tools to, you have to break out of your emotional dysregulation. Because trust me, they put a brake on life. It's like you're driving your car and you're pressing the brake and you're saying, why am I not accelerating? No, these emotions do not let people accelerate. The types of emotion that makes you accelerate is inspiration, motivation, education, right? Challenge, transformation. That's what you ought to be pursuing. That's what I do in my school. But what you are seeing out there, you're just taking content. This content now is making people confused, lost. Now you have too many options, too many cooks in the kitchen of your mind. Confusion. Is it this? Is it this? They said this, they said that. Now people have told you 10 ways, 100 ways to go from here to California. And what you only need is one roadmap. That's why I use the roadmap. Just follow the roadmap. Follow my leadership. Follow. You will arrive. You follow Google Maps, you follow. If you follow the right leader, you will arrive. But if you follow 10, 20, 100 leaders, you will not arrive. You just get confused. That's another wisdom. So number 3, I'm not going to go too deep because of time on this, but let me just run through it, just create highlights and summaries. Number 3, do you have any questions on that? Okay, let's see. Okay, Fred, good health. Yes, good. Number 3, your job as a sales professional is to offer leadership. You know why? I wrote here in my notes, as I my class notes as I was preparing them. The notes will be in my school, by the way, and the replays. I said in here, leadership is when you transfer your own beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. You see, your prospect may approach you with doubts, fears, limitations, all and on and on. What you want to do is make sure when they leave you, you've boosted them a little bit, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay? When you leave and move on, my job is to make sure you don't return back to the level of confusion, doubt, fears, this. That we can give you a ray of sunshine and show you a glimpse that there is a better future if you follow my leadership. Right? If you invest in my program, because that ultimately is the rescue. We have to transfer, right? Remember I talked about education, but this is the emotional transfer, right? My own knowledge, experience gives me a boost. Because I've worked with the biggest company in the world, like my level of expertise, experience, my perspective is different than yours. If you know what I know, you will achieve better results. That's the promise. But if you don't know what I know, you still operate at whatever level, whoever you're following, whatever level of understanding skills you have, you always operate at that level. You cannot operate beyond the knowledge, capacity, skills that you have. This is what we talk about: embodiment of knowledge, consciousness, enlightenment. Is that the moment you want to go to higher levels and you want to achieve breakthrough results, you will become a force. Right? So leadership is when I will give you what is mine. I'll give you a taste, right? What I believe, what I'm thinking about, how I feel, what I do, behavior. Because part of following a leader is the leader is supposed to create and manifest people who think, right? If you're in the army and you're in military, the general is supposed to train, right, everybody under them to perform at higher levels, not lower levels. Otherwise, if you go into that war zone and you are going in with untrained soldier, everybody will die. Right? Yes, that's the cost. I talk about economic warriors. Sales, you've got to get your mind right, your heart right, your behaviors right, your beliefs right, and then show up right with confidence. Anytime people are still doubting this, doubting that, I say deal with that stuff. That's why you need a coach. Imagine if Tiger Woods come on the day of games and he's like swinging like, oh, it's because he didn't show up to training and his coach didn't tell him what they were supposed to tell him. You build confidence so that on the day of performance, you get the result, you win. This is the champion training, the champion mentality. Leadership is required for us to train people to perform at the levels we are performing. That's the whole point of my school. Right? I work at the highest levels in the world of business and government. Everybody will say, I want this, I want that. But when you assess people, behavior, beliefs, thoughts, what they embody, it's not rich enough to help them get the results they want. So training is how you close that gap. And the way we train, the way we teach and train is I will teach you what I know, I will teach you what I do, and if you do the same, you will get the results. And if you can find other teachers that promise you the same thing, good luck with that. But I'll tell you, people don't make promises like that on social media because they know most of their programs is not complete. Oh, I will do your website for you. I'll do it. They tell you they will carry you on your journey just a little bit further. That's why people are stuck. People made all kinds of promises. You thought they were going to take you up to the ladder of success, but they only took you a mile in, and then they drop you like hot potato. That's why I built a school. All in results. Transformation. Because any other promise people are making out there is limited. It doesn't even take you a mile. What would a website just do? Okay, now you have the website. Do you have marketing? Okay, now you have, listen, it's 360. That's why I said a school. You will learn. And there are many things we have to learn. It's like, you want to be a doctor? It's not one book. You know, I was teaching, when I was teaching, entrepreneurs working with United Nations, there was a question. I laughed at that question. That's why I'm laughing now. I was teaching them branding during that class. And one of the students was like, hey, Toyin, is there one book you can recommend that will teach us everything? I said, guy, I wish I could recommend. If really there was one book, I would be happy to recommend it. But listen, can you ask a doctor to become a doctor? Will it be one book? Is it only one book you're going to read to become a doctor? I said it's the same. Business hour. To become a pilot, is it one book? No. You read series. So my 10-week accelerator covers 10 subjects. It was taught in a year. Now you can complete it in 10 weeks. 10 subjects that you have to master and embody to be a winning entrepreneur. It's not one. Don't let anybody convince you that all you have to do is create one funnel. All you have to do is create this. All you have to know is everything, all and above. It's not just marketing and sales. It's marketing and sales. It's not just branding. It's branding and everything. If you want to build a world-class business, if you want to build an asset, equity stays at the brand layer. Product and services have a shelf life. If you've taken my class, you know what I mean. Let me keep going. So, number 3, we offer leadership. Your prospects come in with doubts, fears, lack this, they don't know this, they're confused, they have symptoms, they've tried this, so they come in with confusion. Don't let them leave you with the same confusion. Knock down some of those doubts, those fears, those concerns. Build confidence in them and show them the way to breakthrough results. See, we will offer you breakthrough results. If you want breakthrough results, follow me. Okay, follow me into my school. Since you live in the promised land, you have to describe the future state. That's why one of the skills in the lead generation class, that's week 9 in the 10-week accelerator. There are some tools I give you, storytelling tools, right? Power of storytelling. One of the methodologies I designed is called Tales of Two Cities. Tales of Two Cities. The power to tell the story, right, of the future. The power to tell the story of the current. The power to tell the story of how your product and services serve as cross bridge that guides people into the future. But the mind must go into the future. Otherwise, it's stuck in the past. The human mind. Remember human design. I teach human design as part of my school. EQ programs. Because if you don't understand that the body follows the mind, you're asking people to follow you. But if their mind cannot see that future, they are not following you. The human mind has to travel through imagination, right, into a place beyond the status quo. You have to see the ray of sunshine. You have to believe in the future. You have to taste it. You have to want it. You have to hunger for it. The better life, the life of freedom, financial freedom, unlimited opportunities, where you can be who you want to be, go where you want to go, freely build legacy for your family and children, so that your children will not start where you started. They will start where you end. Make sure you push the end state further. It's about quality of life, not just survival anymore. Can you see that? Because that's what is being offered in my school. Okay. Number 4. Okay, no, guys, if you have any question, drop it. I'm kind of speeding things up now because of time. Number 4. You have to challenge people to take action and follow you. We're living at a time because of emotion, because also of thinking of mindset patterns that keep repeating. There are some stories. You see, There's a tape recorder in the minds of your prospects. Remember, we're talking about human psychology, EQ. Is that people have formed identity out of stories. In the EQ class, I explain human design, how we are designed. You know, when we talk about belief system, when Bible talks about stronghold, it's a story that is so strong and an identity has been formed on it. Many people have formed an identity today. One of the things I say, there's a program, the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business. One of the strategies for winning in life and business to break a storyline, I call it removing the barriers to your success. You know what happens? Most people who do not achieve success is not that they cannot achieve success, it's actually that the stories they are telling about the barrier in of itself is the cage. Because successful people will encounter the same thing, but they will tell another story, a superior. They will tackle those barriers, those challenges from a higher perspective as a champion, not as a victim. If you confront your life with victim mentality, nothing happens. Oh, is this? It's the government. Is this? Oh, is that? Oh, you've tried this. It didn't work. Oh, this. That is the emotional dysregulation. The victim mindset is a storyline that if people don't rewrite their story, there's nowhere they're going. Because if I tell you, if you go to California, there's $1 million waiting for you in California, and then you start saying, oh, you don't have a car. Oh, you don't have gas. Oh, you don't know how to drive. Oh, you don't have a roadmap. Oh, this. I say complaining is complacency. You're still where you are. The $1 million is still where it is. Those stories must be replaced by a sense of possibility, a can-do spirit, a spirit, an energy, a mindset that says, I'm going to break those barriers down. I'm going to remove everything that stands between me, I want, and what I want. If people don't arrive there, there are a bunch of stories that people have come up with. It's a long list of why they are where they are and they believe they cannot go to where that $1 million is. And this is why, you know, those of us, we will move on. We move on from people who have convinced themselves that they are incapacitated from pursuing the future God has put in front of them. You cannot help that person. You know why? Because it requires a strong breakthrough. This is your breakthrough moment. If you don't break through your own stories, if you don't cast those imaginations, that this is what keeps people down, and then 80-year-old, they say regrets. This is what creates regret, because at the end of the day, you could have broken those barriers. Only those who break those barriers achieve breakthrough, move on, and achieve success. Between you and success are the stories you tell yourself. And when people don't understand the power of stories, in the EQ program in my school, listen, I actually teach my students, this is a requirement, guys, the ability to talk to yourself positively. There's another voice that will tell you everything you cannot do. You must feed the voice that tells you all things are possible to them that be. If you don't feed the voice, if your fears and doubts have a stronger hold on you, you are listening to them more than the voice that is saying, I have the promised land, keep going, keep going. But you listen to the one that says you are like ants in front of the giants. You don't listen to your God of breakthrough. There's really nothing somebody like myself, because even to sign into my program, you have faith in everything I'm saying. You have to believe. Jesus will say, by your faith, you are healed. The solution can be in front of you. What you are praying for can be made available. But trust me, if you don't summon up the courage within, and this is the capacity you all have, the power to believe. Remember, I talked about the entrepreneur is the one who brings their ideas to life. If you don't break this mind art fight, if you don't win it, the idea doesn't come to life. It chokes. There are so many things that choke that idea. It's unbelief. You know, I teach spiritual psychology based on biblical principles. Unbelief, your own unbelief, doubts, fears, choke ideas away. What are you going to do about that? Because if you don't tackle your own unbeliefs, you don't take action. They are there to become a barrier between you and everything you know belongs to you. That's an assignment only you can conquer. Right? I will give you the tools. Listen, the EQ classes, the 7 series will help you fight that inner fight. But in of itself, you have to believe what I'm saying. You have to invest in it to get the solution, to fight your own battle. That's why I say content is not going to do this. It's not. You have to be ready to engage with yourself. You know, people want you to engage, like, share. You are engaging with other people's content, story. It's not your like and shares that I'm asking for. I'm asking you to sit with yourself and engage with your own heart and your own mind. Whether you like this or share, it doesn't change anything, you know. You know, you can like this all you want, you can share this all you want. Does it change anything for you? It doesn't. It doesn't. It just makes you feel it's another dopamine. Content addict. You like, oh, you feel good, I've liked. Please like. I want you to like. Please contribute, like, share. I'm not telling you not to like or share, but I'm trying to create an awareness that there's something better, something more powerful, something more transformational that you need. Not me. You need it. Is the engagement between your heart and your mind. For you and for your prospect, you need to do it. I say get out of your own feelings. You need to show up. You need to be consistent to be a sales professional. Get out of your own feelings. But please also realize your prospects are facing the same thing. We are all human. In this dimension of life. That's why in the EQ classes that I teach, I tell you categorically, when you develop these skills and you apply it to yourself, you have more empathy for the realities of other people. You become more understanding with everybody you are doing life with your kids, with your spouse, with your co-workers, with your... That's why the skills are important. But if you are not empathetic to your own plight, you're not aware, you're not, right? You're ignorant of what's going on within you, you're not engaging yourself, you don't still have the skills to serve other people. So I'm saying, when you engage your own heart and mind, and you fight your own battles, and you conquer and you win, you will be able to help. You'll be able to serve the world better. You'll be more understanding. You can listen more to the plight of the people you are trying to serve. Instead of judging them, instead of accusing them, instead of trying to dominate them, instead of trying to be, you know, there are many sales tactics out there that people want you to feel inferior before you invest. They have to tell you, they dump all kinds of nonsense on you. And then they tell you, oh, to dig yourself out of that nonsense, do this, do that. They cause damage. But here's the key. When you leave them, this is what you have to watch out. Every time you leave people and you are sad and you feel inadequate, you feel depressed, they've employed these negative tactics. It works. In fact, some people say negativity, when you scare people, it works. I'm not in the business, or I'm not an agent of the devil. I'm not interested in scaring anybody. I'm interested in educating, enlightening you, and empowering you, so that you are no longer ignorant. You're no longer ignorant of what battles you need to fight. Right? Enlightenment, education, awareness. The battle is against ignorance. But some people want you to remain ignorant because they're going to make money out of it. People, listen, the world it doesn't want you to learn, because there are many people that benefit from you not knowing. You are not a competition at the next level simply because you are stuck at this level. When they are saying there's promotion, when they are saying there's money to be made, you are not there. When I say people to show up in the marketing, look around you. You are not marketing, you are not selling, you don't have a brand, you are not a competition, you're not relevant in the marketplace. So why would they come and tell you to join the marketplace? Why would they come and recruit their competition? Nobody does that. Nobody does this thing I'm doing right now. Nobody. But I say you have the skills and talent. You deserve to compete at the highest levels. Train yourself. That's what we do. Leaders of the future. Number 5, offer energy and support. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm offering energy, encouragement, believe. I believe in you. I believe in the promise. Listen, from a faith-based spiritual psychology, there is greatness in every child of God, but greatness must be nurtured. I always say the biggest problem is when we have unmentored generation. Where do you go for mentorship? Where do you go for coaching? Who are your teachers? If you think you are going to navigate this life and achieve everything God wants you to achieve without helpers, midwives that will help you birth destiny, that's part of the problem. Find your teachers, find your mentors, you are going to need it for the highest levels of success. Now, if you are not trying to become the best in your space, to live out your full greatness, anything will do. Status quo will do. Entry level is available to everybody. Maslow's hierarchy of need. As long as you are focused on survival, food, clothing, shelter, listen, that's where everybody, most people in the world will be left. Other people will climb the mountain to the heights of success. They lighten their load. They confront, they build legacy, they build businesses, they build empire for their next generation to inherit. But many people will stay at the base of the pyramid because by design, unless you want more, unless you are ready to invest more in yourself, you stay where you are. That's how this rule is. Nobody begs you to invest in yourself. It's a decision that you have to make. You have to fight your own battles. But the moment you see, if God cast a vision of heights of success for you, I'm speaking to that same voice. Okay? The voice in you that knows you can do more and you belong at higher levels. That's the only voice I'm speaking to right now. Not the one that is doubting. The one that believes. I know this is a training for sales, but I'm teaching you so that you can teach others. Because you're going to need to teach other people what I'm teaching you today. You need to teach your children what I'm teaching you today. Teach your community, the people you want to serve, what I'm teaching you today. We have to teach and grow. We have to teach ourselves new things, principles of prosperity. You see, many people have taught us all kinds of junk. That's why people are afraid. They've taught you how to fear. They've taught you don't have this. They've taught you how to be a consumer, how to spend your money on shoes and handbags, but they've not taught you how to spend it on developing your mindset and creating peace in your heart. You don't know that the higher you go, the more pressure you'll be subjected to. Most of the people you're going to see that are executives in big companies, they all have coaches, executive coaches. Because to survive, you're a president, you're a mayor, you will surround yourself with a bunch of advisors. The moment you are in form of leadership, you're a business owner, you will surround yourself in a bunch of, listen. So if you are living a life right now that you think you don't need a coach, think again. Because it's only so far that you don't need a coach. The higher you go, you will need people you can call for recommendation, for new perspective, fresh perspective. Because this journey requires us to expand our capacity for more. Those are the people I invite to join my school. It's about leadership, it's about skills, it's about mindset, and so much more. We want to achieve breakthrough results in life and in business. I'm going to stop there. There's so much else. Emotional safety, sense of urgency, consequences of inaction, a ton of stuff. When I teach emotional intelligence, you can apply it to sales, you can apply it to your real life. You do business the way you do life because you are human. It's not just IQ, it's EQ. Everything lands in your place of energy management. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to wrap it up today. Thank you for joining. See you at TOYINUMESIRI.ACADEMY. The notes will be released there. The resources will be released in my school. Again, see you and God bless. Shagun, thank you for joining. I see you on LinkedIn. Since nobody raised their hands, sometimes I just want to take a pause and give people time to digest everything we just covered. I know it's a lot. Breakthrough barriers. Do you want to come up? I'm done with what I want to share today. I'll put the show notes and everything, class notes in my school. Let me invite breakthrough barriers, and then we've closed out the formal side of this. I'm done. But if anybody wants to engage in, I know you had. Or maybe I'll call you. I know you, so maybe we'll talk offline. Okay, we'll talk offline. Let's wrap this thing up. Thank you guys. Bye for now. I'm closing out. Okay? Bye. Thank you. We've wrapped up. I'm closing each of the sessions. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you. I'm gonna give you a call. Okay? Bye.